Hello and welcome to this video on practical goal achievement. This will help you in any area of your life, including making money. The fact is, without a compelling goal, you will struggle to achieve your goals in either your life or your business. Whereas if you follow this system diligently, you will achieve your goals and make more money. Imagine for a moment throwing a dart without a dartboard to aim at. You see, whether it is about making money online, offline, in any business or any other goal in your life, you must have a target to aim for. Otherwise, where are you heading towards? You've got to know, you've got to be clear about what direction you're heading for your goal to be achieved. Now, the basics of goal achievement are shown to us by the mechanics of SMART goals. S stands for specific. I'm going to use an example of running the marathon, which was the first time I used this system, and I've used it ever since. So S is specific. Run the London Marathon 2002. M is measurable. You've got to make sure your goal can be measured. So at the end of the run, I've either run the marathon or I haven't. You must be able to see that you've achieved your goal. A is achievable. Is your goal actually achievable? Now, mine was achievable, provided I put in the training. Make sure your goal is achievable. R is realistic. Now I have to say, I don't personally buy into the realistic tag. I think that actually holds people back, and I personally suggest you go for a big lofty goal. But that's an article for another day, or a video for another day even. Now, given I was 44 when I set this goal to run the marathon, and I'd only ever run short distances in the past, I was already injured when I set the goal. Many would say it's not realistic to set a goal of running a marathon. So do you see what I mean? But I set it as a big goal. And then lastly, T is for time bound. April 2002, the London Flora Marathon. So when you have these 5 constituent parts making up your SMART goals, that format will help you go forward. Now in a second I'm going to show you an amazing tool to really enable you to track your goals and will help you achieve them. But firstly, the reason many people don't achieve their goals is they actually don't make the decision to set the goal in the first place. Firstly, they have no idea how to achieve the goal, and that puts them off setting the goal in the first place. And secondly, they often can't see the steps at the beginning, so they just don't bother setting the goal. Another reason is the goal itself may appear too big or scary. So for instance, many people I've heard say, I want to run a marathon, but they never actually set running a marathon as a goal because the thought of running 26.2 miles is too scary or too big for them to sort of imagine how they could ever achieve that. So they just don't set it. Imagine for a moment though, a car and its headlights. You see, you don't have to know all the steps to your goal, and this picture will show you how, by just taking the first steps, it heads you towards your goal. A car with its headlight, the beam is allowing you to see the 20, 30 foot as far ahead as the beam stretches. Now you've got no idea that it's beyond that. And the same is true of setting a goal. However, as the car moves, the beam is moving forward with you, so you start to see the curves in the road, the forks, the junctions, the roundabouts. But you still can't see the final destination, but that doesn't matter, and the goal is the same. So therefore, you set the first steps of your goal, and in the same way that the headlights of the car reveal the next steps for you to take when you're driving, the same is true of your goals. As you start off by taking small steps, the next steps, the next stages of your goal are revealed to you. So this picture has an amazing amount of power in it. If you think of your goal and how a car uses its headlight, that is the same way that you will move forward in achieving goals. Now, my goal, as I said, was to run the London Marathon, and we're going to use this as an example here. So running the London Marathon is the goal. So what I want you to do is draw a triangle or a pyramid on a piece of paper with the apex at the top. You then draw horizontal lines from left to right, so you're turning this into like a pyramid type structure with bricks. So you draw lines from left to right, and then you draw vertical lines up from bottom to top to make the brick structures on each of the layers of the pyramid. So each level obviously has less bricks than the lower levels. And then in the top brick at the pinnacle of the pyramid, you write your goal. So in this case I've written marathon. Excuse me. Now I'm just removing the outside structure, so I'm just left with my pyramid structure and the bricks. You then start to write the first steps that you can see. So this is a bit like the car and its headlights. When I put my hand up at a seminar and said, I'm going to run a marathon, the only steps that come into my mind are the ones that I've just written down here. I had no idea how to run a marathon. The thought of running 26.2 miles to be precise was frightening. However, I knew it's a goal I wanted to do. It's a worthy goal. So I just wrote down the simple steps that I can immediately think of. First of all, I knew I had to make a doctor's appointment because I was injured already. I knew, therefore, I had to see the doctor. I knew that because of the injury, I'd probably need to see a specialist. So my next step would be to make an appointment to the specialist. The next step would be to see the specialist, then to start physio. I knew I'd have to start stretching, get an application form, apply to the London Marathon, maybe get a personal trainer. I definitely needed to get some new running shoes. So all I done was wrote down some simple steps that I could see at this stage. Now, none of those in themselves are difficult, none of those in themselves are complex, but they take me towards the overall goal. So whatever your goal is, whether it is to run a marathon like me, or to plan a wedding, or to make more money online, just write down the simple steps that you can see at the time of starting. And in the same way that the headlights on a car driving at night reveals the next steps or the next curves in the road, as you start taking either these steps, the next steps will be revealed to you. Now what I do is, as I achieve each section, I then mark it off with a highlighter pen. So I take my yellow highlighter in this example, and as I've been to the doctors, I coloured it in, and make the appointment for the specialist, I coloured it in, etc. And you start to think, wow, I've achieved some steps. So as small as they are, it starts to build the sort of the belief that you are moving towards your goal. You then start to add new steps and obviously mark off extra steps as you do them. So I've now achieved more steps, and I've started extra bits on my program. So I knew I needed to start running a few minutes each day. I downloaded a training program, etc., etc. So you just add new steps as they come to you. So every time you suddenly think, I know what I need to do, you can just go and add it on there. And as you achieve various steps, you mark them off. So again, at this stage, I still haven't got all the stages to complete the marathon, but more ideas are coming to me. You just put them down on your chart and mark them off as you achieve them, and you'll feel really, really good. So here we are, I've put all my extra steps and then I mark them off as I achieve them. So each time I achieve something, I mark it off. So I now have achieved the marathon. I actually ran the marathon, the London Marathon, in 3 hours 55 minutes, age 46. Long story, I didn't actually complete it in 2002. I actually suffered a serious injury just before the race, a few weeks before the race. So I achieved it the following year. And that in itself is an example of how you have to overcome obstacles. But I kept that vision alive, so I ran the New York Marathon the same year as well. So this simple model is how you can achieve your goals. It helps you build belief, it's practical, it's visual, very powerful. And now you could use this same method to discover how to generate a recession-proof income online. I hope this has been useful for you. and please go to the website to look up extra information. You'll see that we're going to be posting a host of videos to help you on many different subjects.